Hey, good morning again. This is Jace in the Philippines. My YouTube channel is Cactus Jack, like Cactus Jack Slade from the movie The Villain. Anyway, let this truck go by here. Yeah, yeah, the cemetery is right down the road that way. But anyway, and they're doing some work over there across the street. I don't know what they're doing over there. But anyway, okay, this video is my second one this morning. I have my tablet here in case I need to Google a Bible verse. That's kind of my Bible right there. I just kind of Google what I need right there. So, yeah, my dad sent me a Schofield Bible, real expensive. And it cost him a lot of money for the Bible and the shipping here to the Philippines. But I'm not really a big Schofield fan because he couldn't even get past the first verse without messing it up. Talking about the gap theory. Well, I don't believe in the gap theory. It is so unscriptural. It goes against Exodus 20, Exodus 20, verse 11. But anyway, so my subject today will first will be UFOs. Now, I joined the Air Force in December of 1981, and my first base was Eielson Air Force Base in Fairbanks, Alaska. And so there I was in Fairbanks, brand new in the Air Force, and my boss was Staff Sergeant Davis. And me and Davis, we got along real good, and I would go over to his house for dinner. I got to meet his family. So we knew each other for 18 months while I was there. We worked together and also got together after work for activities. So the point is, I knew this guy really well. So he told me a story. After Vietnam, he got a secondary job in the Air Force as a photographer. Now in the Air Force, that's called a 2AFSE. It just means it's a secondary job that you have. So while he was a photographer stationed at Eglin Air Force Base, which is near Pensacola, Florida, well, he actually got to take pictures of what he considered was a crashed UFO they had there in a hangar at Eglin. And it was all roped off with security, But all he did was take pictures of it. They didn't tell him anything about it or where it came from or nothing. All he had to do was just take pictures. So he did. He took pictures, and he said they couldn't even get inside it. They tried to drill through it and everything else. They couldn't even scratch the metal. But when the beam of a flashlight touched an object inside of the UFO, the hatch opened. All right. So then, at that time, they went out and got some dead alien bodies out, and then my friend Davis, he went inside to take pictures of the inside of it. And that's when I first really got interested in the subject. At first, I mean, I didn't even pay any mind to UFOs, but after his story, and I believe his story because I knew the guy. I mean, when you work with somebody day in and day out, you know if they're lying to you. And he was telling the truth. I believe him. He has no idea what it was or where it came from, but he saw it and he took pictures of it. And he said the technicians could not even damage the structure of the craft at all. So anyway, I'm not going to tell his full name because I'm not going to. But anyway, so after that, I did research. I read every book I could. I talked with people, and during my Air Force career, I've talked with many people who have seen UFOs, including one guy I know. He was at Edwards, and he saw one fly over the flight line. Is what happened is the security police came and they told everybody on the flight line to go back inside your hangars and shops and stay there until they were released. But he said he saw it. And that's only one. There's lots of other people. I'm not going to go into all their stories right now, but I'll just say this: yeah, there's something going on. And during my research, during all the books I've read and articles, and talking with people about their experiences, I drew my own conclusions. Long story short, my conclusions that I drew about the subject are the same conclusions that L.A. Marzulli claims. Okay, that they're not from outer space, and the aliens are not from a different planet or something like that. That's all part of the deception from Satan. It's all from Satan, and yeah, they are. They're fallen angels / demons. That's a whole different. Well, it's a related topic, but we can talk for that later on. But fallen angels, demons, that sort of thing. Basically, it's all from Satan. Satan has been, and there's nothing new about UFOs. I mean, this goes back a long time ago. I want to talk about Whitley Strieber's book, Communion. Now, Whitley Strieber is a very confused guy. Now, I believe that what he said happened really happened. And in one of his books, I forgot if it was Communion or Transformation, he actually talks about where he thought they were demons, but he just wouldn't allow himself to believe it because of the fear he had for these, what he called the visitors. And, he said he was very scared of them. And that's why he just couldn't bring himself to believe that they're really demons. Well, the guy is into some weird New Age stuff, but as part of, though, about what I read in his books that made a lot of sense when comparing it to other research I've done and talking with people. But yeah, they're nothing more than fallen angels or demons, and they're part of Satan's grand deception. If you want to know more, just Google or go on YouTube and look for L.A. Marzulli, because what he has to say is pretty much, what I believe on that topic. Now, there is a couple of topics that L.A. Marzulli believes that I don't believe. For example, he does believe in the gap theory and that the Earth is billions of years old, and I don't believe that. There's no scientific evidence, and it goes against Scripture. But other than that, I do, like what L.A. has to say about many other things. And his conclusions about the whole alien UFO phenomenon is pretty much the same as mine. So if you want to know more about what I think, just look at what he thinks, and it's pretty much the same thing. But yeah, so there's your UFOs right there, and they have a part to play in the grand end times deception. And I have a lot of theories about that, but I'll get into that more in depth on another video. Right now, I want to switch gears and talk about Bigfoot. Now, I know you guys are going to laugh, haha, Bigfoot. Well, no, you can believe whatever you want. I really don't care, but the same thing with Bigfoot. I've talked with several people in the Air Force that I worked with on a daily basis, and they have seen Bigfoots, okay? And I do believe them because, when you work with somebody, you can get to know them. I can tell if they're BSing or not. And in these cases, no, I do believe their stories because it also confirms other stories I've heard. It doesn't contradict anything. So, yeah, there are creatures out there, Bigfoots, and I think that they're not animal and they're not human. There's something that was made probably a long time ago. The fallen angels are doing stuff down under the earth, crossbreeding, and all this. Again, L.A. Marzulli goes more into this than I really have time for right now. But they're the part of some experiment or something like that. All I know is that they do exist, and they're not fully animal. They're not fully human. And no, they're not the missing link. It's not evolution taking place. No, it's something that was made by intelligent, like fallen angels, that kind of thing. Anyway, so the Bigfoots are one phenomenon. And by the way, I have been up to Tacoma. I was stationed at McCord for a while. In fact, a lot of the stories I heard were from people I worked with at McCord, which is in Tacoma, Washington. And I have a friend there. I had a friend who owns some land east of Tacoma, out there in the middle of nowhere. And I've been out in those woods, and they're really creepy. I mean, the woods around there are. I can't. There's no other way to put it. They're creepy, and like I have shared some videos about Bigfoots, and like this one I like. It's called California Forest Beings. Okay, he put some videos out. Well, I've seen area like that. I have not seen a Bigfoot myself, no, but I have seen what I think is Bigfoot territory, because when you have huge trees ripped out of the ground and they're laying in a way that is not really natural. I mean, they're not wind. It's not the wind that did it, because then it would just be all be the same direction. These are crisscrossed and really weird. And now, so that's Bigfoot. What about these other things like the Wendigo and skinwalkers and all that? And it's the same thing. It all goes back to Satan and what him and his minions are making. They're making all these weird things. And the American Indian legends, they really talk about it. So it's what I want to do, instead of just me telling you about it. Go on YouTube, and there's a lot of information on YouTube, and you can digest it, or you can like toss it if you want and say it's all baloney. Yeah, whatever. You can do whatever you want. But the information is there, and I've talked with people, especially in the Tacoma area, who've seen some really weird stuff in those woods. Yeah, really weird things and scary things. Okay, like the Dog Man. You may have heard about Dog Man. It's sort of like a werewolf, only different. Well, there's people who have seen them, and they're like dogs. They stand up on their hind legs. They're about 7 feet tall, and they can mimic your voice. And all these missing people, and it kind of relates, I think, to David Paulides and Missing 411. These are some very strange missing persons cases out in the middle of nowhere, in national parks and national forests. And what happened to these people? Like this one guy, I forgot his first name, but his last name is Wood or Woods, and he was out at Mount Rainier National Park, and he was seen hiking a trail, and then he just vanished. There's no trace of him whatsoever, except a couple of years later, some other hikers in the same vicinity, they just happened to look up in a tree, and they saw clothes and shoes hanging from limbs way up high in this tree. How are you going to get somebody's clothes and their shoes up there? I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. But as it turned out, they suspect that those clothes and shoes are from this guy who went missing. Woods. Is Wood or Woods? I forgot his first name. But, so whatever grabbed him, is like they sucked him up into the sky. And some of his clothes got snagged on some branches. I mean, people see these things, So you can't just lightly dismiss it. Dismiss everything and say, oh, it's all just a bunch of baloney. There's really something going on here. Anyway, here in the Philippines, I can't really do a lot of research here because there's nothing happens here that I know of, But maybe someday I'll go back, and when I do, I plan on going out in the woods, in the mountains, and do my own physical research. All I can do now, really, at this point, is go on YouTube, because back when I was in the States, I talked with a lot of people about these subjects, and I got a lot of answers. Some thought it was all baloney. Some say, yeah, I did see something, so. But here, there's no one to talk to. I can't talk with these people. And the foreigners, all they do is go over and get drunk and drink beer and stuff. And I don't want to do that. So there's no one here for me to really talk to. And the Filipinos could care less about this subject. All they care about where their next bag of rice will come from, So there's no one really to talk to here. Okay, this is coming on to 14 minutes. I'm going to have some more information. Right, this is my first time I'm doing this. Is what I should have done is take notes. But because I do have a lot of information in my head, people I've talked to, things I've done, people, places I've been to. And all I can say for now is there's weird stuff going on the earth. And the Bible says that men's hearts will fail them for fear upon what they see on the earth. Well, what are they going to see on the earth that's so fearful that they'll have a heart attack? Well, some of these things I've talked about are just that very thing. Like when you're talking about like Dogman or Wendigo, the Skinwalker, and things like that. I mean, that's pretty scary stuff right there. Oh, there's this one story I heard too a long time ago. I'm gonna have to go back and try to remember that story. But this was something weird that happened. There was two couples that went hiking or camping out in the woods. I think this was in Oklahoma. And when they came back, one of the couples, something happened to them. I don't know what happened, but they weren't the same. They were not who they were before. And this was, documented by the police and everything. And these people are totally not who they used to be. And it's a mystery. What happened? They're still alive, but they're not really sane, So they saw something or experienced something, but nobody knows what. So weird things going on in those woods. So when I do go back to America, I'm going to spend more time in the woods and see for myself. But for now, I'm here. So anyway, I'm going to put some more videos up, more Bible-oriented videos, and just kind of whatever I happen to be thinking about that day. And, if there is anybody watching these, then, comment if you want or whatever, or don't. Reminds me of Richie from Boston. And I like him. I like Richie from Boston. There's some things I don't agree with, but there's things I don't agree with about everybody. I mean, there's not one person I can think of that I agree with 100%. So there's that. But Richie from Boston I like because he's a real guy and he just tells you what he thinks. And I agree with a lot of what he says. He puts out a lot of cool videos. And so there's that. So anyway, I'll go ahead and close this for now and I'll upload it. It takes several hours to upload. And you'll be getting that. So good day from the Philippines and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.